Be'at Hashem, we're doing Chod Shabbat. Says the Chazon Ovadia, how to prepare coffee on Shabbat. There's a big discussion about coffee. Some people cannot do without their coffee in the morning, but we have to know how to prepare it. Once you know how to prepare it, you can have your coffee kosher, smooth, and good. It says over here, Avkat Kafe Shikluya. We are talking about coffee which is already ground, right? The beans, they grounded the beans, right? Mutar le'arot alea b'Shabbat mayim chamim mikli rishon. There will be no problem, according to Sephardim, to take the water directly from the urn and pour it directly on the coffee.
Into the cup.
Right. We'll explain why, how, and why not, according to some opinions. שאין בישול אחר קלייה, לדעת מרן שולחן ערוך, וכן כתבו האחרונים, וכן הוא מנהגנו. Let's explain. We know Shabbat, when something was cooked before Shabbat, it could recook on Shabbat. Last week we gave the example of a soup, right? A soup is fully cooked. Now it's cold, and you want to warm it up on Shabbat, on the plata. When it's going to get warm again, it's going to cook again. Though it's cooked, it's recooking. Asur, you're not allowed, right? We said yavesh, something which is dry, like rice, borekas, empanada, all those things, right? They're cooked, fully cooked. You want to put them to warm, you're allowed, because they're not recooking, they're dry, right? According to Sfaradim at least. And everything done is on plata on Shabbat. Now, what about coffee? Coffee is roasted. What does it mean roasted? It's not cooked with water. It's roasted, like they put the beans in ovens, 800 degrees. And with the heat, it becomes like the small grains that you see. This is what it becomes, right? So they don't have to sit and grind it. Just the heat grinds it by itself almost, right? Now, coffee is cooked. Now, Sephardim we say, something which is dry and was cooked before Shabbat does not recook. Ashkenazim say, yes, you're right. But there's another thing. There's no cooking after cooking, but there's many types of cooking. There is frying, which is a type of cooking. There is roasting, which is a type of cooking, right? There is boiling, which is a type of cooking. So Ashkenazim, they make a difference between the 3 and 4 stages of cooking. They say, something which is roasted completely could be cooked on Shabbat. Means if you put it to a warm again, it will cook. What do you mean? It's cooked, yeah, but it's a different stage. Something that was boiled before Shabbat, if you put it to warm, without liquid, it's cooking now. It's asur, according to Ashkenazim. Maran Shulchan Aruch says no, right? So once a thing was cooked, doesn't make a difference the way of warming it. By roasting, by heating, by hot water, doesn't make a difference. Therefore, Ashkenazim say, you cannot take ground coffee, which was already roasted, and pour boiling hot water on top of it, because before it was roasted and dry, now it's boiling with hot water. Maran says, Shulchan Aruch says, no. Once it's cooked, it's cooked. Doesn't make a difference what type of a cooking. Therefore, says Rav Vadia, even though it was roasted, completely cooked, right? Roasted, but no liquid, you're allowed to pour hot boiling water from the urn on the coffee Shabbat. Now, the rule is like this. Always we say, V'amahmir tavo ala bracha. If you could be strict, right? And take a cup, empty cup, put hot water inside, put your coffee in a different cup, right? And take the hot water from the cup and pour it on top of it. It's kli sheni, tavo alecha beracha. Right? If you don't have a second cup, so you have only one cup, or for some reason you do not want to use a second cup and you're a Sephardi, right? At least your father is Sephardi and you follow Sephardi customs, right? You are allowed to pour directly the hot water on top of it. 1 second, coffee doesn't come by itself, it comes with sugar. What about sugar? Can I pour hot water on the sugar? Because usually, right, people put the coffee and the sugar and then they pour the hot water, right? Do I have to put the sugar after, before? Says Rav Vadia, the sugar is the same thing. The sugar is cooked. Where does sugar come from? Cane, sugar canes. Most sugar comes today from beets, right? Beets. There's white beets, there's red beets that you buy, and there's white beets. Ken? Lefet, right? No lefet, the selek, right? Selek adom, selek lavan. Therefore, you are allowed to pour the hot water on the coffee and on the sugar, right? Because both of them are already cooked, right? So again, if you could avoid and use kli sheni, tavo alecha bracha, right? If not, it is permissible. So if you see somebody doing that on Shabbat, don't start screaming on him. Some people, they scream for nothing. They come to you, hey, you know how to do this. Why? I don't know. They told me this. Okay. What do you mean they told you that? You don't know what you're saying, so just scream on people. Unless you're sure what you're saying, right? Don't scream on people. I saw last time over there, a guy is screaming on a lady. Hey, you know how to use the phone on Shabbat. She's screaming. Everybody, was 200 people screaming on her. The lady became black and red and whatever you want. Then she told him, my ear is hurting me. She just put her hand on her ear.
No, she had the ice pack.
Ice pack, whatever. And he thought she's speaking on the phone and started to give her.
Wow.
Right? Shem Yishmo. He says over here. So therefore, coffee is mutar, right? And now, doesn't it change? This is what you want to say. Doesn't it change from solid to liquid? Right? And then when it's liquid does cook. We're not allowed to put hot cold soup to warm on Shabbat. So when I pour the hot water, the soup, the sugar becomes liquidy. The coffee becomes liquidy. So maybe when it disintegrates and becomes liquid, and the water is hot, it's boiling it again. Because even according to Sephardim, you're allowed to warm only dry things, not liquid things. So over here it becomes liquid. The coffee becomes liquidy. So he says, no. We follow, says Rav Madya, we follow the original stage. What's the original stage of coffee? Bean. Even when it was put into grains, right, little grains, it's still solid. Beans are solid, the grains are solid. Even if it turns into liquid, we go after the original state, which is solid, and therefore, according to those who permit it, you'll be allowed to pour hot boiling water from your urn directly on coffee and sugar, in a cup that has coffee and sugar, right? According to Sephardim.